Go live in three, two, one. Hi, guys. This is Cynthia again with Healing Holden. I'm actually going to pull some of this out and add it to a larger video that's coming out for you guys about nature and healing and how basically God has given us everything that we need here on this earth to cure just about everything. But I wanted to give you a preface about things. So as I sit here and drink my mate, this is mate from Uruguay, and my cousin Kata made this beautiful mate. We call it mate too. It's usually a gourd, but the cup is called mate. The herb is called mate. Andrew Huberman talks about it all the time. I was reading a little bit about it for some of the stuff I was pulling together for the larger video. And one of the things that I saw was a guy kind of tongue in cheek talking about the 5 reasons why you shouldn't drink mate. And it was all the great reasons about mate. There's weight control. There's all kinds of things. But there are, constantly things like that going on. So I thought I'd mention that in the preface for my Nature is Medicine video as I enjoy this in front of you. I had a friend of mine recently comment that I had mentioned nettle tea, which I'll discuss more in the video. And he said that he takes nettle tea and it doesn't do anything for his allergies because that's what it's very good at handling. And so I mentioned to him the pharmaceuticals are actually, the companies are doing more genetic testing, and they're starting to realize more and more that your genetics have a huge role to play in the way you metabolize anything, food, substances, whatever it is. So, there isn't a one size fits all for anything, not even with herbs, not with diet, not with anything. So when you're talking about herbs, and as I go through, there's very few things that we all need, like water, sunlight, and there's even people that are supposedly allergic to water, allergic to sunlight, or at least they have certain parameters they have to live within. So again, we kind of go back to that individualism that functional medicine and functional nutrition tries to get through to people. A lot of people feel like, just like Western medicine and pharmaceuticals, you take this pill for this thing that you're experiencing and this pill for that thing. And they want to kind of apply it the same way to herbs and natural living. But the truth is, like I said before, it doesn't work that way. And we have a ton of variety, even with respect to mate. I mean, that's just one tea. There's a lot of other green teas that work for different people. And I actually have never liked black tea, but I love coffee. And I would always have bad experiences with black tea. People would constantly say, no, you shouldn't drink coffee. You should switch to tea. Well, guess what? Turns out I'm sensitive to black tea, not to green tea, 2 different things. Because when you process things, it changes their molecular structure. So, people have asked me too about marijuana and what I think about that. It's an herb like any other herbs. Coca leaf tea is drunk all the time in the Andes because it helps them with the altitude and to keep energized while they're living and climbing in that area. But they don't refine it like sugar or cocaine, and they are having it in its natural form. And usually just like a hot water extraction, which if you look up in PubMed a lot, and I'll get into it in this other video, that is usually the best way to get any kind of compounds from the leaves. And there's a really beautiful scripture at Revelation 22:2, and it says, the leaves of the trees will be for the healing of the nations. And I think that is somewhat symbolic, but I think it's probably also very literal. I can't think of a single medicine that wasn't created from something in nature. Maybe, scorpion venom is something that's not a leaf, but definitely all of this abundance of different kinds of foliage, flowers, they all have medicinal properties that can help certain things. Some things don't work for some people and some things work for others. So I think I'm blacked out here. I can't see myself on this video, so I don't know what's going on. But at any rate, I just kind of wanted to bring that home before we start any of this. That in my IT days, we said this a lot. When people asked, will this work for me, or can I do this? And we would always say, it depends. And it does. It depends. I don't get a lot of use out of a particular brand and blend of a phosphatidylcholine and phosphatidylserine. It's a brain booster. It's a supplement that I like to take upon occasion, but my son does. And then there's another blend, has the same ingredients, just a little bit of a different blend. And I get great results from that one, but my son does not. So it all depends. When you're talking about herbs, it all depends, just like food. Like you can get an apple that's mealy and nasty and not really, it's just not a good fruit, or maybe the entire tree is sick. And then you can get a wonderful apple from a very good source that has great soil and lots of nutrients in it. Still an apple, but your source is important. So those are the qualifiers that most scientific studies leave out, that you just can't compare apples to apples in this case when you're not looking at all the distinct details and differences of how that apple was grown. So I hope you enjoy this video, and I hope it gives you some more information about how you can really harness nature to be able to heal yourself. The end.